Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with a dedicated row of solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink task and Steve Thrill to find out who we're toasting.
So what says Airbender? That's Steve Hill after drinking milk. I like where your head is. Today we chose Joey Belknap. Now I know you're thinking, who's Joey Belknap? Well, I'm glad you asked. Joey's a personal friend of mine, and Ted's, and Miles's, and Ryan Castle, and VD. Basically, just about everyone who's a friend of mine, Joey's also friends with. Hell, even my kids love her. In fact, my daughter, this is no joke, is sculpting her dog for her out of clay, albeit by request. Baby, please don't include the huge penis. Her dog has a notoriously large penis.
All right.
Do not add that in, which means I know she's going to add that in. Anyway, we're toasting Joey today just for her resilience, okay? So 2 years ago, it's cancer. And then all the ensuing treatments that go along with that. It's never easy. It's never a good time. A year later, her mother, who she's very close to, passed away. 6 months after that, she endured a botched hysterectomy. Let that sink in. A botched hysterectomy. And then a few months after that, she was in an inpatient rehab for about 4 weeks. Now, she has gotten up fairly recently. In fact, we're eating pulled pork the other day. And in spite of all of this, Joey has not only survived, she's persevered. In fact, she'll be joining me and the new originals on Miles' birthday, January 29th at El Corazon for a show. Joe Dredd's almost
they're celebrating my birthday.
Yes, we're celebrating the birthday.
That's
we got
so
Joe
cool.
Dredd, everybody. But look, if you know or are close to Joey, then reach out to Jimmy. You will know who Jimmy is. As he got a letter from her that will help explain both to him and all of her friends and learn how she's doing and learn Jimmy's unwavering role in everything that went down. So anyway, Joey, congratulations, man, for getting out of there. She got her booster shot, so we didn't hook up yesterday as we were going to. But when the arm feels better, we'll be able to get together. Again, quick side note, January 29th, El Corazon. The new originals, along with Almost Human with Joe Dredd. So we're playing a show. It'll be good to get back on stage with her. In fact, Mike, I think you're posting a picture.
Yeah.
If you've been to Red Festival, you might recognize her. It's a picture of her and myself on stage.
Yeah.
Don't judge my looks. Mm-hmm. So let's drink.
I also like that I went to her party last summer and I was the only one without a tattoo.
You know what, man? That is true. She had this massive birthday party, and literally, I think Ted is the only person. Not only, if you had a tattoo, you would have been the person with the fewest tattoos.
Right, there's like tattoo artists, people from bands, like all that. Finally, I look at Jimmy and go, am I the most punk rock here? And he's like, man, you might be, actually.
You might be, dude. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Thrill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Oh, crap, that did not work.
Hang on.
Hello there, who is this?
Oh, this is Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Hey,
you have
Steve.
a fantastic name. All right, Steve, you understand how this here game is played? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, then you have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Bite me.
Bite me.
All right, here is your story. We go to the land down under, also known as Australia, where Alexander White found a small creature in a bag of produce that he just brought home from the local grocery store. Now, the creature happened to emerge while he and his partner, Amelia, were unpacking their groceries. After taking a few photographs of the unwelcome dinner guest, the couple called their local wildlife resource organization, who eventually came to collect the creature. Now, with the assistance of the grocery store, the customer, the organization was able to trace the lettuce, and therefore the creature itself, back to a place called Toowoomba. They've since begun the process of transporting the creature back to its city of origin. Now, what about the lettuce, you ask? Well, it definitely did not go to waste, because White said he ate it in a salad wrap the same day, said, quote, I've already eaten the lettuce. I washed it thoroughly. So basically this creature pops out of the lettuce. He's like, oh boy, that's messed up. Wash the lettuce, we're eating wraps. But the question is, what kind of critter did he and his partner find in the lettuce? Was it, keep in mind this is Australia, was it a snake, a spider, one of those big-ass centipedes, or a turtle? So snake, spider, centipede, or turtle?
I'll have to say a centipede.
Centipede. Okay. Ted?
I mean, it's Australia, so it could be anything.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times the lettuce story, it's always a frog. So sticking with amphibious, try to decide between turtle or snake. I'm going to say it was a small snake.
Small snake from Ted. I'm saying based on the fact that he ate the lettuce afterward and didn't care about it, didn't care at all, I'm going to go turtle. Just because I think, like, as far as the threat to an animal, like there's a poisonous turtle out there. I just don't know what it is. But with the snake, with the spider, with a centipede, I know for a fact if they bite you or whatever, that can hurt. You know, they can.
Yeah,
But he already got the animal out of there, right?
Yeah,
That's
but it
what I'm
was
saying. Like,
in the lettuce.
It was in there, but he had no problem getting it out. Like, if it's a big-ass spider and I don't know what it is, I'm not taking that spider out of there. And if I do, I'm stepping on the floor. I'm not shipping it back to the country it's from.
Right.
Spider's just gone, man. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. One
See a
less
spider
on this planet. So I'm going to say a turtle final answer. And Steve, are you going to stick with centipede?
I'm sticking with centipede.
Okay, we're going to find out what was in the lettuce. Was it a snake, a spider, a centipede, or a turtle next?
That was a T. Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories by me on profile. This Australian man, he found a small creature in some vegetables that he bought at the grocery store. It was actually a head of lettuce. After identifying it, he pulled it out, sent the creature to get identified, and they figured out where the lettuce came from.
Right.
And sent the creature back to that country. Question is, what was in the lettuce? Was it a snake, a spider, a centipede, or a turtle?
And that is the very question that we posed to our contestant one, Steve, who went with centipede. It was not a centipede. Miles Montgomery, you went with a turtle.
Yes, I did. Wrong.
Lee Ted Smith went with a snake.
How do you win on snakes when you hate snakes?
That's why they call me Snake.
By the way, they said it was an 8-inch snake. I'm not going to try to pronounce its scientific name, but according to the Australian Museum, the venom of that particular snake has the ability to, quote, produce an unpleasant symptom, including severe headache, blurred vision, localized pain, and abnormal bleeding.
Oh,
8-inch snake.
And my man was still like, yeah, I'm going to eat it anyway.
Big enough for you, Mr. Smith?
Yes, an 8-inch snake.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Throw 1-0-1 there, too. All right, your choices today will be the Jimmys.
Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon.
Seth Meyers.
Okay.
James Corden. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there, the title. These guys who have teams of talented writers help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
15,000 pounds of Walmart beef sticks are being recalled because they forgot to label a potential allergen. Walmart beef sticks must now be labeled with that says, warning, you're eating Walmart beef sticks.
So it's either Myers or Miles or Fallon. Fallon.
Fallon.
I get this. I saw that nearly 15,000 pounds of Walmart beef sticks have been recalled because they forgot to label a potential allergen. Yep. Walmart beef sticks must now have a label that says, warning, you're eating Walmart beef sticks.
I like a good beef stick.
I do too. A good one.
Yeah. You ever get them fresh from like a butcher?
No.
Oh, man, they're good.
Sounds nice and lovely.
Mm-hmm. They held the Golden Gloves. They held the Golden Globes, sort of. The Globes were not televised, no red carpet, and no show because no celebrities agreed to be part of it. That's how radioactive the Hollywood foreign press has become. They were handing out golden trophies, and no actor from Hollywood would take one. That's like birds not flying south for the winter.
Myers.
Fallon. Kimmel.
They held the Golden Globes ceremony, sort of. The Globes were not televised this year. There's no audience. There was no red carpet, and there was no show because no celebrities agreed to be a part of it. That's how radioactive the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has become. They were handing out golden trophies, and no actor in Hollywood would take one. That's like birds not flying south for the winter. It's unheard of.
Arby's has announced a plan to launch a new spicy chicken sandwich that is so spicy it comes with a free milkshake. In fact, it's so spicy and has so much flavor, they won't even sell it in Utah.
Ted Smith.
Yeah, that's me. In Canada, in Quebec, they are now requiring vaccine passports to enter all liquor and cannabis stores. First dose appointments have now jumped from 1,500 a day to 6,000. I think maybe Pfizer needs to come out with some gummies and a hard lemonade.
Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon.
Kimmel.
Starting January 18th, Quebec will require a vaccine passport to enter all liquor and cannabis stores in an effort to keep Omicron from spreading. First dose appointments have now increased from 1,500 per day to 6,000.
I think maybe Pfizer needs to come out with some gummies and a hard lemonade.
Right, so you know the term death and taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you can
Two things you can guarantee in life?
Right, you can always add something, right, if you're trying to make fun of somebody. like death and taxes and I don't know, the Oklahoma Sooners being overranked in college football. Right? Like, you know what I mean? There's always like death and taxes and then something else. I know for a while people were saying like death, taxes, Hawks first round exit in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So you can insert whatever joke you want. Hey, look, this year I'd be happy with a wild card exit. I mean, I respect Coach Carroll. If he doesn't go to the Super Bowl, it's like, let's just get it over with. Well, here's another one. Death, taxes, and Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy was renewed again for a 19th season.
Jesus.
Must be doing well enough.
Obviously. I mean, it's still making money then.
It's just kind of crazy to think of like the career trajectory, yeah, that other people have had, and Ellen Pompeo is still on there. She'll return as Meredith Grey. But I'll be dead honest. Until right now, I had no idea that's why they called it Grey's Anatomy. I thought it was just a joke about Seattle and it's gray all the time.
Yep. I'm sure it's a play.
What hospital do they work at?
They don't.
Seattle General.
Seattle General.
You know
a real hospital.
Wasn't it Seattle Grace?
I don't know.
I think so. I think it's Seattle Grace.
Either way.
All right.
You know.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I live in that neighborhood. I was like, which one they said?
Well, they're not going to use a real one. I mean, that's...
No, I know. And it seems like General is the way to go.
But, you know, I'll give her credit on one thing. Like, people have different trajectories, all right? There was the blonde chick who left because she was a bitch. I can't remember her name. Katherine Heigl, right?
Yeah.
You're not doing... Look, the one thing about acting, and people always forget this, like, you can be a celebrity. That is one thing. Most actors aren't getting paid any goddamn thing. You know what I mean? They tell you they're an actor as they take your order at the restaurant because that's what acting is. It's a tough gig. If I could be on a show for that long, like, I get a steady paycheck. Obviously, the shit, like, cool. You go be a movie star, you flop. I'm still doing this thing.
Yeah. Well, in 19...
Of course, that's also what I'm saying is we've been doing this show for 16 and a half years. Yeah, I like this thing about, hey, I like what I do. It works.
When Anthony Edwards left ER, that was it.
Right. George Clooney, on the other hand.
Maybe he's doing something behind the scenes. I'm just saying as far as what you know to see him. You know?
Yeah, like George Clooney did great. Anthony, I mean, everyone likes Anthony
Edwards.
Eric
LaSalle kind of went away. Like,
right.
You know, you can leave, but you could also have a steady gig.
You know, and that's the thing with acting.
Did Eric LaSalle leave, or did that show just end?
I don't know.
Either way.
I don't know. But I mean, but that's the thing with acting.
He's done.
I mean, it's like, look, it's tough to get an acting gig. So if someone's like, hey, you want to do it another year? Like, okay, no.
Yeah. And it's also tough, too, because, like, we're saying Lifetime, but also, like, trying to explain this. Like, there's other genres of stuff, not genres, but just other movies and stuff that, like, there's some actors I don't even think about, and then you're like, oh, they've been in this franchise, and you have no idea.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right? 19th season, she's still on there. Obviously, people were having fun with her. Like Lumber said, Grey's Anatomy returning for its 176th season with the late Ellen Pompeo coming back from the dead once again to play Meredith Grey. Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, 19 seasons. Right, I mean, that show's been on... Right, longer than we've even lived in Seattle.
It has.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been a lifetime.
They come here once a year, and they film a bunch of outdoor scenes for a week. So they try to get some sun, they try to get some rain, they try to do this, they try to do everything they need to as far as their outdoor shots. Like the season is already pretty well.
What time of year do you think they show up?
I don't know. I know they come for like a week. And like if they have a scene, they do all the stuff that they need to do that's not set up on a stage, you know what I mean, to be a hospital. Because they do all that now.
Right, if it's outdoor and you need to see Seattle, they block off a week, they get it all
I'm
done.
just thinking now, though, like...
Isn't it always summertime or something like?
But I was just saying, the summertime. I guess it's easier to add rain, but in like the summertime, remember like last summer, like once it stopped raining, I mean, we didn't get rain for months.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like
they can come up here and film that anytime.
I mean, they can always add rain, right? Because they do the fake rain, as it were, on set. But yeah, the sunshine, or they'll do a scene on a ferry. Like, look, we need a couple days with a ferry.
I would pick March or October.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, because for some reason I feel like in March. Like late March, early like April, we always get a couple like really nice weeks, and you're like, "Oh, all right, it's
here
hot.
we go." Turn the
and then it rains again till about June,
right? And then the end of June,
then it gets nice
to July 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was 2 years ago, right? When we were in the heat of the pandemic. I'll never forget. I was sitting on my buddy's boat, and I was like, "It's July 19th. I don't mind rain. I don't mind overcast. Even I'm getting tired.
It's cold. Yeah, it was pretty crappy."
Let's see. Georgia won a national title last night.
That was a great game.
I don't know if anybody watched that. That was a really good game. And the funny thing is that they both only had one loss in the season. Alabama had beaten Georgia in the SEC title. I don't think, and granted, I heard this from somebody else that knows sports better than I do. They were like, I don't know that Georgia really cared about that game. I'm sure they cared about winning the SEC title, but at a certain point, once they got down, I was like, all right, we're losing this one. I also think Alabama's, a couple of their wide receivers were out. That obviously hurt them. I still think Georgia was probably going to be the better team on that night, but that obviously was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Yeah, we explained to the kid yesterday, Alabama has won 5 of the last 10 of these. Georgia last won in 1980. So it's not that I care about either school, but I'm going to go ahead and pull for Georgia just so there's something new.
And there's somebody like Vince Dooley was on the sidelines. The coach who won the championship. It was kind of a cool collection.
You think he knew where he was?
I saw him. Oh my God, it's Vince Dooley. You know what I mean? He was like, holy cow, he's still alive.
That was my thought.
Well, it's crazy. So it's been 41 years, but for me, it's even weirder. Obviously, you get it right. You go through phases. You get older with sports, right? First of all the college players at a certain, in your early 20s, you're like, oh man, they're all younger than I am. Mm-hmm. Then I'm at that point now where outside of Tom Brady, I have outgrown. I'm older than all NFL players.
Oh yeah.
But it's also weird because Kirby Smart, he played at Georgia in the late 90s. I was in high school. I remember, I watched him.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. He's already gone through the process of working at other schools, coming back to his alma mater.
He was in Alabama for a number of years.
Right, and winning a national title. And I thought Nick Saban did a great job last night after the game. Sometimes he could be a little surly, but
sure.
I liked he was just look, this is a great team. We're missing some guys. We lost the national title. And then they asked about Kirby Smart, and it's yeah. It's I'm happy for him. I taught him.
There's a reason I hired him on my staff for 10 years.
Yeah, and I wish in life a lot more things were kind of that's the coaching carousels in college can be crazy, but I do wish in regular life more things were like that, as opposed to people always being oh, I can't believe you left the program or this or that. It's kind of nice that no, he did a great job for us.
Yeah.
Now he's got his own head coaching job.
Sure. So what happens when you do a really good job,
right? And then he wins a national title. Mm-hmm. Plus, to win a national title, and most people wouldn't know this. And look, even growing up on the East Coast, you run into a lot of different college football fans. But Georgia fans, to their credit, they have been crazy and psychos for years.
And they've been good. They have played in the Sugar Bowl. They have played in the Orange Bowl.
They've been close, yeah.
They just never could pull the trigger on the national championship. Georgia's always had a good program. But you forget the last time they won it was Herschel Walker.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know what I'm saying? It's just oh my God, it's been a while. I've always just thought they were good, but you don't realize how long it's been as far as their fan base is concerned and everything else, so...
Yeah, and with college football, what is there, 118 Division I teams or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, there's only one that gets to raise that trophy.
Yeah.
And you gotta kiss it.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Politician is blasted for showing a photo of his wife shoveling the driveway after her 12-hour hospital shift. Meanwhile, 2 Florida women are arrested after glitter bombing a man at 3 a.m. because of a rift. Wisconsin man gets a DUI, so the wife says, to hell with it, I'll get one too. With robbery in progress, 2 officers of the law decided they had something better to do. And apparently in Florida, there's one golfer who is shocked to see an alligator on the golf course. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
Our top story, let's go to Wisconsin, where a couple is spending an evening together in jail. The story doesn't go into detail about what caused an officer to stop their car in the first place, but it did lead to the husband being arrested for OWI. Ignoring instruction to wait for a sober driver to take her home, the wife got behind the wheel and drove away from the scene, promptly running the car off the road and into a utility pole, causing her to be arrested for OWI as well.
Jesus.
Well done, gang.
I think they said that they knew she was drunk, but she was supposed to wait for someone to come and pick her up, and she decided not to, drove off, and crashed down the street.
Well done. In other news, whether we like it or not, when it comes to politics, optics plays a significant role in the position. One politician in Manitoba found that out the hard way. Thinking that he was just sharing a picture on Twitter showing how wonderful his wife was, he ended up shooting himself in the foot, as the photo is of his wife shoveling their driveway, which is buried under about a foot of snow. The caption of the photo reads, quote, "Even after a 12-hour night shift at the hospital last night, my wife still has the energy to shovel the driveway. God bless her and all of our frontliners. Time to make her some breakfast." This was met by some criticism from the Twitter community. Basically, that it was taken from the comfort of his own home on the second story from the window. Looking.
I took a picture of her while she was out there shoveling snow and he was inside.
Exactly.
She just got home, couldn't pull her car in the driveway. He takes a picture.
Instead of shoveling his driveway.
Dumbass. Sorry. You know she's coming home.
Exactly.
You know you should have breakfast anyway.
Right.
Maybe I'll make her some breakfast then for doing something extra. Like, come on, dude.
You better have been having your nose to the grindstone the entire doggone time, man. Come on.
No offense. You're a politician. It's not like you're really doing it.
Right.
You're just being disagreeable all day.
Come on. A judge in California has made a final ruling on a pair of officers that were fired back in 2017. We covered this a little bit earlier today. Their departure from the department came after they did not respond to backup requests for a robbery in progress occurring at a mall that they were already located at. The department launched an investigation after the officers actually drove away from the location instead of answering the call for backup, and dashcam footage caught the two of them talking about playing Pokemon Go instead of working. Great work, gentlemen. Back to the internet, a golfer shared a post of a different kind of hazard out on the course, a gator. He posted a video to social media showing the reptile coming out of the water with a fish in its mouth, and the caption read, quote, "Playing golf today. Had to let a gator cross before I could finish the hole." And you will never guess where that course was located.
Bradenton.
I do like your setup there, Miles. The only golfer in Florida actually shocked to see a gator out on the the course.
I've never not golfed in Florida. I golfed in Alabama, and alligators were everywhere. Like, you just know if you live there. It's like saying, like, oh, my goodness, there was a raccoon in our trash.
Right.
All right, well, wow.
Right.
Staying in Florida, where 2 women were arrested after assaulting a man with an interesting choice of a weapon. The story doesn't detail how the relationship between the women and their victim, nor what set them off, but they ended up in an argument with the man as he sat on his balcony. The argument boiled to the point that they began to throw containers of glitter at the man, hitting him in the head and torso. They continued the assault as they climbed over his fence and into his home, where they tossed even more glitter bombs at the man. They eventually made their escape via a window that they had kicked out, and were later tracked down by police. It's great work there, gang.
Hey, there we go.
Get it. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
We'll see you up next. More Men's Room on the way with the Men's Room Happy Hour and the return of Would You Rather, exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, we be all about this bitch for about 180 or so seconds. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document. even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.